My wife said, "He was my first love. I owe it to myself to see if it's still real." She took our daughter and moved in with her college ex. A month later, my little girl called him daddy on a video call. I didn't argue, didn't fight for custody. I just quietly disappeared. 2 years later, they showed up at my office, homeless, abandoned, and begging me to come back. Hey viewers, just a quick thanks. Over 14% of you are already subscribed, and it means the world. If you're new here and enjoy these stories, join the family by hitting that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000. This is going to be long, but stick with me because the ending is worth it. 2.5 years ago, I was married to Laura, then 29F, had a 4-year-old daughter Emma, decent house in the suburbs, the whole middle-class dream thing. I'm 33M, by the way, work in IT consulting. Laura and I had been together since college, married for 6 years. Things weren't perfect, but they were stable, or so I thought. Spring of 2022, Laura starts acting different, distant, spending a lot of time on her phone. Classic signs, but I'm thinking maybe she's stressed about work or something. Then she drops this bomb on me one Tuesday evening while I'm helping Emma with her coloring book. "Mike, I need to tell you something." Never good words. "I've been talking to someone." My stomach dropped, but I kept my voice calm for Emma's sake. "Talking to who?" "Connor, from college, my ex." Connor, the guy she dated for 2 years before we got together. She used to call him her first love, the one that got away, all that romantic garbage. What kind of talking? We reconnected on Facebook a few months ago, started texting, then calling. Months. This had been going on for months while I was working overtime to pay for our house and Emma's preschool. And he's divorced now, has his own business, lives in Portland. "Okay, Laura, what exactly are you telling me?" She looked at Emma coloring her princess picture, then back at me. "I need to know if what we had was real, if it could work now that we're both adults." "You want to see him?" "I want to move there, with Emma, just temporarily, to see if this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life." The audacity was breathtaking. She wanted to take our daughter and move in with her college boyfriend to test whether she still loved him. What about us? Our marriage? That's what I'm trying to figure out, whether I married you because I loved you or because Connor wasn't available. Emma looked up from her coloring. "Mommy, who's Connor?" Laura smiled at her. "Someone Mommy knew a long time ago, sweetheart." I waited until Emma was asleep to continue the conversation. "Laura, you're talking about breaking up our family so you can play house with your ex-boyfriend." "It's not playing house, it's figuring out my authentic feelings. Authentic feelings. While married with a child. What if you decide you want to stay with him? Then at least I'll know I followed my heart. And what about Emma's heart? What about mine? Emma will adjust. Kids are resilient. And you'll find someone who chooses you first. Someone who chooses me first, implying she never had. Here's where most guys would fight. Beg, threaten, make ultimatums. I just said okay. Okay, what? Okay, go to Portland. Figure out your authentic feelings. She looked surprised, probably expected me to fight for her. Really? Really? But I have conditions. What conditions? First, you file for legal separation before you leave. Second, we establish a formal custody arrangement. If you're taking Emma to Portland, I get her for holidays and summers. Third, I'll pay child support as required, but I want scheduled video calls. Fourth, when this blows up in your face, don't expect me to be waiting here. It's not gonna blow up. We'll see. 2 weeks later, after meeting with lawyers and filing the paperwork, Laura and Emma were on a plane to Portland. The custody agreement gave her primary custody in Portland, with me getting Emma for Christmas, spring break, and 6 weeks each summer, plus scheduled video calls twice a week. I drove them to the airport. Emma cried when she hugged me goodbye. "Daddy, are you coming too?" "Not this time, sweetheart. But I'll see you at Christmas, and we'll talk on the computer twice a week." Laura gave me this look like she was expecting me to break down and beg her to stay. I just said, "Safe travels." Month 1 through 6. The scheduled video calls started normal enough. Twice a week, Emma would tell me about her new room, the playground near Connor's house, how he was teaching her to ride a bike. Our first visit was Christmas, 3 months after they left. I flew to Portland and spent a week with Emma. She seemed happy, but kept mentioning Connor like he lived there. which he did. Then, during one of our regular video calls, about 4 months in, Emma was chattering about her day. And then Daddy Connor took me to get ice cream. My blood went cold. Daddy Connor. What did you say, sweetheart? Daddy Connor. He's so funny, Daddy Mike. He makes pancakes with chocolate chips. Laura was in the background, but I could see her face. She looked uncomfortable but didn't correct Emma. That's nice, Em. Is Mommy there? Mommy, it's Daddy Mike. Laura came on camera looking guilty. Mike, I can explain. Explain what? That you've replaced me as her father in 1 month? She just started calling him that. Connor thinks it's confusing for her to have 2 daddies, so maybe. Maybe what, Laura? Maybe it would be easier if you reduced your calls for a while. Let her adjust to her new family situation. New family situation. They wanted me to minimize my contact so Connor could fully replace me. Most guys would have called their lawyer immediately. Fought for more custody. Made a scene. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. So you'll reduce the calls? I'll do exactly what the custody agreement requires. Nothing more, nothing less. I hung up. Then I did something that probably sounds petty. I stopped calling on my scheduled days. I'd wait for Emma to call me instead. Sometimes she did, sometimes she didn't. When we did talk, I kept it short and pleasant. When summer visitation came, I took my full 6 weeks as required. But I didn't extend it, didn't ask for extra time. Sent Emma back exactly when the custody order said to. 6 months to 2 years. Here's the thing about doing the absolute minimum required by law. People expect you to fight for more. They don't expect you to just follow the custody order exactly and nothing else. I kept paying child support on time every month. I took my scheduled visits, but I stopped being the eager divorced dad begging for extra time. I sold the house, took a remote consulting job, moved to Austin, started over completely. New apartment, new friends, new life. Started dating again after about a year. Met Sarah, a nurse who had her life together and didn't have any first love situations to figure out. When Emma visited me in Austin, she'd talk about Connor like he was her primary father figure. I didn't correct her. I didn't compete. I just made sure she had fun during our court-ordered time together. Laura wanted Connor to be Emma's daddy? Fine. I'd be the guy who paid child support and took his legally required visits. Laura wanted authentic feelings. I gave her authentic indifference. Through mutual friends, I heard bits and pieces. Laura was working at some boutique in Portland. Emma was in school there. Connor was running his business. They seemed happy. Good for them. I focused on building my new life. My consulting business took off. Sarah and I moved in together. For the first time in years, I felt like I was living for myself instead of trying to hold together a marriage with someone who was always wondering if she'd made the wrong choice. Emma still visited twice a year as scheduled. We'd have perfectly pleasant visits. She'd tell me about school, friends, Connor. I'd take her to theme parks and movies. Then I'd put her on a plane back to her real family. 2 years later. Last month I'm in my office in Austin. I'd expanded the business and hired 3 people when my receptionist buzzed me. Mike, there are some people here to see you, a woman and a little girl. They don't have an appointment, but they say it's important. My heart stopped. I knew exactly who it was. Send them in. Laura walked in first. She looked rough, tired, older, like she'd been through something. Behind her was Emma, now 6 years old, looking around my office with wide eyes. Hello, Mike. Laura? Emma was staring at me like she was trying to remember something. Hi, Emma. Are you my first daddy? First daddy. Not just daddy, first daddy. Yes, sweetheart, I am. Laura was crying now. Mike, I made a huge mistake. What happened? Connor left us 3 months ago, said he wasn't ready to be a father, just packed up and moved to Seattle. I'm sorry to hear that. We've been staying in a shelter. I lost my job when he left because I couldn't afford childcare. I have nowhere else to go. What about your parents? They said I made my choice when I left you. They won't help. Emma was looking at pictures on my desk. One of me and Sarah at a company party. Who's the pretty lady, Daddy Mike? That's Sarah. She's my girlfriend. Laura's face went white. Girlfriend. We lived together. Have for about a year now. Mike, I know I hurt you. I know I was selfish, but we're a family. You, me, and Emma. That has to count for something. I looked at this woman who had taken my daughter across the country, who had let my child call another man daddy, who had wanted me to reduce my contact so Connor could be the primary father figure. Now she was homeless and desperate and expecting me to rescue her. Laura, you're not my family anymore. You chose Connor. You wanted me to step back so Emma could have a real family with him. I was confused. I made a mistake. You made a choice. For 2 years you lived with that choice. I moved on. What about Emma? She's your daughter. She is my daughter, which is why I've paid child support every month for 2 years and taken every visit I'm entitled to, which is why I'll continue doing exactly what the court order requires. That's not enough. It's exactly what you wanted, Laura. Minimal involvement from me so Connor could be her real dad. Emma looked confused. Mommy, why are you crying? Laura knelt down to Emma's level. Sweetie, remember how I told you about your first daddy? How he loves you very much but had to go away? Can he come home with us now? The innocence in her voice was heartbreaking. That's what Mommy's hoping, sweetheart. I looked at my daughter. This little girl who barely remembered me because her mother had chosen her college boyfriend over our family. Laura, I can't do this. Mike, please, I'll do anything. I've learned my lesson. I choose you now. You choose me now? Now that Connor left you homeless? Now that you need rescuing? That's not how this works. What do you want me to do? Beg? I want you to figure it out the same way you did for the past 2 years, without depending on me. Mike, she's your daughter? She is, and I'll keep being her father exactly as much as the custody agreement requires. Nothing more, nothing less. You're really gonna let us be homeless? I'm going to let you handle your own problems. You're an adult. I called my receptionist and asked her to show them out. As they were leaving, Emma turned around. Will I still see you at Christmas, Daddy Mike? Yes, sweetheart, just like always. Okay. Bye. Goodbye, Emma. The aftermath. That was 3 weeks ago. Sarah was supportive when I told her what happened. That must have been hard. It was, but they made their choice. Do you regret not helping them? No. Laura burned that bridge when she decided I was disposable. I'm not a backup plan. I heard through a mutual friend that Laura and Emma are staying with Laura's aunt in Oregon now. Laura's looking for work. Emma's in school. They'll figure it out. Laura wanted to follow her heart and see if Connor was her real love. Well, she found out. He wasn't, but that doesn't make me her safety net. Some people think I should have helped them more given Emma's involved. That being a father means going above and beyond the legal requirements. Here's my perspective. Laura taught Emma that fathers are replaceable, that you can call any man daddy if mommy says so, that biological fathers should step aside when someone better comes along. I refused to validate that lesson by going beyond what was legally required when it fell apart. Emma will still see me twice a year as scheduled. She'll still get her child support. But I won't be the emergency contact when Laura's poor choices catch up with her. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not hurt. I'm just done. Laura had her first love. I hope it was everything she dreamed it would be. Now she gets to live with the consequences of choosing him over the stable family we built together. I chose to build something new instead of waiting around to be chosen back. Sometimes the best revenge is following the rules exactly as written and nothing more.